Hi, welcome back. It's Dr. Somji. You may not recognize me because I'm wearing glasses. This is my Clark Kent look. But today we're going to be talking about something that's really important. It's pigmentation. So there's dark brown spots, age spots, even things like melasma on the skin. What are the best ingredients that you can use off the high street to help? So before we start, there's the really important thing that is with any skincare product, and is even more important with pigmentation. That is time. You need to have patience and need to leave enough time for these ingredients to work. So what are my top ingredients? First one, which is the most buzzword ever in skincare, is retinols. So retinols are available pretty much everywhere on over the counter. If you look at some of the previous videos from The Ordinary, where we're kind of ranking retinols, I've also done a great video on retinoids, which is the family that retinol belongs to. And there's various different subtypes that you can actually use on your skin. Generally, retinol is going to be the most common one. So there's many different things that you can do. Retinol does help reduce the melanin that's within the skin. So it also resurfaces a little bit as well. So you imagine that you've got that pigmentation that's sitting like a block just underneath the skin. You want to take away those outer layers of skin to get deeper down to that trapped pigment underneath. Pigmentation is basically a natural thing. Now, if you look at one of the longer videos with myself and Dr. Solomon, we talked about why you actually lay down pigmentation. It's essentially a protective mechanism. So that whole mechanism, there's certain skincare products that are what we call tyrosinase inhibitors. They block that process. So retinol is one of them. It does help with blocking the process of getting, essentially producing pigment, and therefore, as your skin turns over, it will slowly come down. So with retinols, there's many retinols that we talk about. If you're looking at high street, I think The Ordinary is pretty much a lot better than Inky List for things like retinols, because you can do a lot of more things with them. You've got stronger ones with things like Drunk Elephant as well as Paula's Choice, but I would always start low with a retinol. I don't think that using a retinol alone is enough to help with pigmentation. It's not what I prescribe in clinic. In clinic, I may prescribe something a little bit more stronger, so a stronger retinoid called a tretinoin. And that's something that if you've got really stubborn pigmentation or melasma, those like mask of pregnancies that you sometimes see, then yes, you may need medical grade products. So the second ingredient is my superstar ingredient. It's azelaic acid. The reason why I love azelaic acid so much is that it's got so many benefits. Unfortunately, most skincare products just give either anywhere between 5 to 20% azelaic acid. Between 15 and 20% tends to be prescriptive. But the reason why azelaic acid is so good is that it helps with tyrosinase inhibition. So blocks pigmentation, blocks the transport of even pigmentation within your skin as well. But it also helps reduce redness. Now think, when you look at pigmentation, it's a mixture of browns and reds. So if you want to reduce the appearance, azelaic acid is going to be fantastic. Another thing is that melasma, that mask of pregnancy, does have what we call a vascular tendency. So it's got blood vessels in there. So anything that reduces redness will also reduce the pigmentation in turn. And that's why azelaic acid should always be part of it. Now, the problem is that 15% and 20% azelaic acid, when we prescribe it, can sometimes be a little bit strong for people. And I still don't know why there are not many skincare brands that make derivatives of azelaic acid. It's really important that anything that you use with pigmentation, anti-pigmentation, doesn't irritate the skin. Because, for example, if I get irritated skin, it goes darker. So you could be making that pigmentation worse. So it's really important that whatever you use doesn't harm the skin. So third one is another superstar ingredient. Many people put it as like second, but I love azelaic acid, so I put that higher. Vitamin C is really important. So there's many different forms of vitamin C. One of the most stable forms that you can see is with the SkinCeuticals CE Ferulic. It's like their superstar product. I went to a SkinCeuticals, I was invited actually to a SkinCeuticals exclusive like gala dinner in Paris recently, and that's their hero product. That's what they gave in a goodie bag afterwards. That's what they sell loads of, because the ingredient that sits in there is probably one of the most stable vitamin Cs. Having said that, vitamin C has got so many different benefits. Antioxidants, helps with pigmentation, decreases redness, and can also, in certain studies, also help improve collagen as well. So for an all-round benefit, vitamin C is fantastic. But here's where I'm going to throw the curveball, because when I was formulating my own products, I thought about vitamin C, and it is the most unstable molecule ever. So hey, again, there are more stable precursor forms of vitamin C. So why not include that into skincare? Because you apply it on the skin and then it goes deeper down in the skin and then it's released as vitamin C where it's most active. So, those are the more sophisticated skincare that's going to be coming out over the next few years, which are essentially what I call skin drones. So delivering active ingredients at appropriate concentrations so that you don't get the irritation, because you can get irritation with vitamin C. So you've got some good formulations with kind of inky list, vitamin C mixed with hyaluronic acid, also with the ordinary as well. There's some top ones over there, but hey, just experiment with vitamin C because you won't be good with every type of one. Next one is kojic acid. It's a big favorite for a lot of people because it's plant derived, mainly derived from things like mushrooms. So it's great for unpack and packaging. People are like, this is plant derived, active ingredients. Somehow that sounds a lot better when you say it's plant derived. But you know what, kojic acid is great as a skin lightener. It's a great tyrosinase inhibitor. It helps break down little blotches of pigmentation that you have, and it should it's effective. Personally, I feel like kojic acid based formulations are a little bit lighter and they don't have as great efficacy, but if you've got only mild pigmentation or you're prone to pigmentation, then the kojic acid formulation is going to be more than appropriate for you. The next one is one of my favorites, is arbutin. It's poorly understood because people always relate arbutin to hydroquinone. And everyone says that hydroquinone, which is essentially essentially the most effective skin lightener, anti-pigmentation agent that can be actually prescribed. Hydroquinone gets a bad rap. If you use hydroquinone at very high doses for long periods of time, there are bad side effects that you can get. So you can get permanent pigmentation as a result of it. It kind of sounds funny. But if you use hydroquinone responsibly, i.e. it's a prescribed medication and your doctor knows how to prescribe it correctly, then there's no problem. And incorrectly, people see hydroquinone as a bleaching agent, which it isn't when used in appropriate forms. Not everyone has such bad pigmentation that they need hydroquinone. Arbutin is a more natural hydroquinone alternative. It's got a similar chemical structure, but it doesn't have all the bad side effects that you associate with hydroquinone. So you will get rapid skin lightening over the counter. That's probably going to be the strongest ingredients for anti-pigmentation, but it's safe to use because again, they're botanically derived, so plant-based derived. It can be used for long periods of time with good safety. There was an incident like in early 2000s or mid 2000s, I can't remember when certain countries were thinking of banning arbutin, but then they actually took it to the lab, they understood it, and they said actually it's really, really safe. And some of the best anti-pigmentation products have arbutin in it. Next one is another one of my favorites because I love it. It's the mandelic acid. Mandelic acid is fantastic for even skin of color, for reducing pigmentation. It will also reduce redness as well. We use it in the clinic all the time at higher strength, so like 40%. But you can get some mandelic acids. Where is it? This is a good one from the inky list. You can see it's mandelic acid treatment. You can put it on targeted for pigmentation in the evening, and it really helps just reduce that pigmentation. So you can use these treatments at home alongside a combination of the other ingredients that we've mentioned in the video, and you can really get a tailored routine in terms of pigmentation. The final one is not, everyone thinks that this ingredient is directly linked to decreasing pigmentation. It's niacinamide, but it isn't. Look, if you think about what niacinamide does, it strengthens that skin barrier. It's important to have something that supplements the skin barrier, and niacinamide is one of those. Because yes, it does have slight anti-pigment qualities, but it's not going to be an exclusive ingredient that you're going to depend on. But when you're resurfacing, so when you're using things like mandelic acid to resurface the skin, and then when you're also trying to break down that pigmentation, whoever you are, and even if the ingredients are the best ingredients, your skin will be a little bit drier. That barrier will be broken a little bit, and that gives you, essentially, you're prone to sensitivity. So if you are undergoing a depigmentation like process with your skincare at home, then your skin's gonna be drier. So you need things like niacinamide to supplement that barrier. Things like ceramides, everyone knows about CeraVe. Adding those kind of things just to boost the ceramides on the surface of the skin, that's gonna kind of finish things all around. Once you supplement that barrier, the most important thing with pigmentation is protection, because that's one of the chief causes, is the reason why you had pigmentation in the first place. So proper SPF 30 and above. Everyone, again, they all say it has to be SPF 50. Really, if you're looking at the differences between UVA, UVB rays in studies looking at SPF 30 and SPF 50, there's not really so much of a difference. What there is a difference is how you apply it. So if you're in high sun, you need to be applying on the hour, every hour. Also be avoiding direct sun by wearing things like hats. That's going to be more important. People think that just because they wear SPF 50, they're cool. They're not. It's only going to increase how much coverage you're going to have by about 2.5% in an hour period. So if you apply on the hour, every hour, SPF 30 above, then it's going to be much better. So if you have any specific questions about my top ingredients, then let me know. In the description below, I'm going to put some, essentially recommendations as my top depigmentation ingredients. Also kind of medical grade stuff as well, just so that you know if you've got really severe pigmentation, who to call. But again, just visit your local dermatology office or your local skin clinic if you've had pigmentation for a long period of time and you're struggling. Don't forget to subscribe, because we're always uploading loads of content. We've got hundreds of videos still left to come, and we're going to be staging the releases of it. If you've got anything specific, just let me know. Put it in the comments below. If you like the video, if you have any other questions, just let me know.